Hi everybody, it's Miss Lorenz. I'm going to talk about 3.6 for grade 7 math. This is all about simple interest, and I want to make sure that you guys are ready to take a few notes because there are some big ideas here. First of all, just what simple interest is. So simple interest is an interest that is applied to the initial amount only. So in the finance world, simple interest is sort of the easiest to calculate. We will get into some interest problems that are not easy to calculate, but let's start with something that is. And here's a concept here's a vocabulary word that you need to make sure you know, and that is principal. Principal refers to the initial amount. All right, so when we say it applies to the initial amount only, we're talking about applying to the principal. And then the interest rate, and I'm sure you've heard your parents talking about interest rate. Interest rate is the percent. It's always a percent value, and it's used to calculate the interest that's applied to the principal. So it's going to make the most sense for us to do some problems, and so that's what I have planned here. And so the interest amount, this is the interest amount on the principal, so you're going to take the interest rate times the principal. An example problem would be this. So let's say that you have a savings account and you put $300 in your savings account, and the percent or the interest rate is 1.6% or 1 6/10%. So this is a pretty common interest rate. You might be thinking, whoa, that's just so little. You're right. A lot of times in savings accounts, that interest rate is really small like this. And so you're earning this amount of interest on your principal. Remember, this is your principal. So principal amount, interest rate. So you are going to calculate how much interest you will earn. So you guys, interest is like the money you are earning in your account without doing anything. So just by putting this money in the bank, they're going to give you some like free money because it's called interest. So you're getting 1.6% of the principal in interest if you don't touch that money. So this is assuming you don't touch it at all and you just leave it alone. And the bank does that so that they can kind of use your money for other purposes as well. It's not like your money will go away. It's still there. But it's a way of encouraging people to put their money in the bank and save it. All right, so the question that we're going to answer here is how much interest will this person earn over 5 years? So let's say that this person is you, and you put $300 in your bank in just a plain old savings account, and it has a 1.6% simple interest rate. So to figure out how much you're going to earn over 5 years, you're going to figure out using this formula here, the interest amount is equal to the interest rate times the principal. So you're just going to simply take the interest rate, remember that's our 1.6%, times our principal, which is our $300. You cannot work with this percent though in percent form. You have to turn it into a decimal. So that's the first thing we do is we move it 2 places to the left. Remember, percent means per 100. So to turn that into a decimal, we're going to have to move it 2 places to the left. So we get 0.016 times 300. So here is this is still our interest rate, but it's in decimal form so we can use it. Times our principal of 300, and we get 4.8, which would be $4.80. So in other words, if you just put $300 in your savings account and maybe you forget about it for 5 years, you go to take your money out of your savings account, you remember, oh yeah, I put $300 in my savings account. You go take it out, you now have $304.80. So you might be thinking, well, that's not that much more. Hey, it's more. It's like free money, right? And of course, the larger the principal value, the larger the interest amount. Okay, let's look at one more example. Let's look at this example up here. Let's say it's $425, and after 2 years, so you had $425 in your bank account, and then after 2 years, you had earned $10.20. And so we're trying to figure out what rate that was. Like maybe you put your money in the bank and then you forgot, like, oh, what was that interest rate? Okay, we're going to use the same idea here. The interest amount is our $10.20, right? The interest rate is what we don't know. That's what we're trying to find out. So let's use a letter for that variable. And we do know our principal amount, the amount we put into the bank at that time, was $425. All right, so we're going to solve this equation just like we've been solving equations. Here we're multiplying our variable times 425. To isolate that variable, we're going to divide by 425. And so we're ending up dividing. Of course, those cancel each other out essentially. We're left with just 1 over here, 1R. And then $10.20 divided by 425, we get 0.024, okay? So here, guys, remember, that is not the percent. To get the percent from that decimal, we have to move the decimal 2 places to the right to turn it into a percent, so that becomes 2.4%. That's actually a pretty decent percent for a savings account. All right, I hope that was enough of a little bit of help to get you going on some practice problems on 3.6, and then we'll do a superset after this one section. So I look forward to talking to you then. Thanks for listening.